A group of researchers made up a ghost to prove that ghosts weren't real, but whatever showed up wasn't what they thought it was. They wanted to disprove spirits. Instead, they summoned one.
Over the last 100 years or so, there have been many groups of people who meet regularly to sit in what are called mediumistic circles. This is done in the hope of receiving messages from the spirits of their deceased friends and relatives. In a typical sitting or séance, the participants are seated with their hands on top of a table, sometimes with their fingers touching, sometimes not. It is said that the spirit who is supposed to be present often causes a variety of strange physical effects to occur. Research by Sir William Crookes, who worked with the famous medium D.D. Holm in A Good Light, and by Harry Price and other famous investigators who studied Stella Cranshaw in 1923, proved that some of these physical phenomena were genuine and not the result of trickery. Whether we believe in spirits or not, it shows that there are forces in the universe at present unknown to science and different from the four forces known to physicists. In 1972, a group consisting of 8 members of the Society for Psychical Research in Toronto, Canada, decided to find out more about this mysterious force. They wanted to find out first whether it could be produced in full light, whether a spirit medium was necessary, or if instead it could be generated by ordinary people. If the force was produced by a disembodied spirit, or instead was generated by the living participants in the circle.
They weren't trying to summon anything. They weren't mediums. They didn't believe in ghosts. They were academics, researchers, teachers. They believed all spiritual phenomenon could all be proven by an untapped potential of the human mind.
This actual experiment arose out of a discussion we were having one night on what was the nature of a ghost. And it followed the investigation that we had done in Toronto of a haunted house where, in fact, some of our investigating team had seen what they thought was an hallucination or a ghost. And we couldn't believe that this was so. But if it was an hallucination, which was the conclusion we came to, we said to ourselves, well, why can't we create our own hallucinations?
You decided to try to make...
We decided to try and make our own ghost.
The researchers thought, well, if they just invented a ghost, there'd be no way they could contact a real ghost. Which to me, that doesn't make any sense.
If we were going to prove that it wasn't a departed spirit, we had to invent a story, we had to invent a character. And one of our groups, Sue, who has a beautiful imagination, invented our ghost for us.
Philip was an aristocratic Englishman living in the middle 1600s at the time of Oliver Cromwell. He was married to a beautiful but cold and frigid wife, Dorothea.
A picture was drawn by Andy and agreed to be a true likeness of Philip.
If something started talking to them, well, it couldn't be a ghost because they didn't believe in ghosts and they created a fake one.
Now, you had a character, you invented him, you gave him a name, Philip, and you gave him a history. Then you tried to get him to communicate.
For a full year, they tried meditating to bring about a ghost.
One night every week for a whole year, we spent in meditation and thinking about our ghost and trying to conjure up a vision of him.
They meditated seriously, quietly, solemnly, but nothing happened.
And we didn't get anything very much in the way of results, and we're beginning to feel a bit despondent, and maybe we were wrong after all. And then we came across some work of some English experimenters in the British Society for Psychical Research, where they had worked on an experiment to make a table rise, levitate a table. They were working on physical phenomena, wrappings, movements, the kind of thing that happened in the Victorian seance room in the Victorian days. If you sat around and you sang repetitive songs and you told jokes and you worked in a relaxed atmosphere
and got into the spirit
and got into the spirit, literally the spirit of the thing, you would produce these physical phenomena, the raps and so on. We said to ourselves, well, if this works for physical phenomena, why shouldn't it produce our ghost?
When the group added jokes, singing, just a playful attitude, everything changed instantly.
We were surprised when suddenly one night we heard a rap from the table. And we thought, what is this? And we sat there very much surprised. And I think it was Dorothy said, well, perhaps it's Philip. And immediately there was another rap. And so we said, well, rap once for yes and two for no. Are you Philip? And there was another rap.
Did you get movements then rather quickly?
Shortly afterwards, the table kind of slid a bit.
Right.
And, of course, then we all accused each other of pushing it, naturally. When
it really happened, you couldn't believe it yourself?
Oh, no, not at first. And, in fact, the first few months, we were watching each other like hawks, and if anybody's finger moved the slightest bit, you're pushing, this sort of thing.
Remember, as you're watching this, that none of the scientists do not believe in spirits whatsoever. They think they're all creating this with their mind.
Here we are, and my guest is Philip the Talking Table and his 8 friends, and you're going to be introduced to each one of them in a moment. But right now, Philip has been communicating through some raps.
Come on, Philip. A real loud one. Come on.
Give it very loud. Say hello. Come on, say hello.
That's right. Now do it louder.
Say hello to all the people.
It's a big audience you've got out there. Say hello to everybody.
All right. Really loud, Philip. Come on, show off.
Come on, Philip.
Hello, Philip. It's Sue.
Oh, all right.
Now say hello to Alan.
Hello, Philip.
Good.
Here's a good
nice,
one.
good one.
Oh, another one. Now, I think we should say that these raps have come in a number of different circumstances with outside witnesses present,
yes.
Including a psychiatrist, and they have agreed that the raps do indeed seem to come from inside the table. They're not being produced by anybody here. The microphone is picking up these raps, and they appear to come from inside the table.
Okay. Well, you can see that all our hands are absolutely still, and we're standing up, and our feet are on a carpeted floor, so nobody could be kicking or tapping or the sort of things that are usually alleged in these.
Right. Why don't you rev it up and see if Philip will put on some antics for us?
Oh, I'm sure he will. Come on. Oh, there's nothing he likes better.
Okay, but don't
show our minds. Come on.
Junior Bergman, up in the air, upside down, up in the air, Junior Bergman. Don't tip it, Philip.
Mind the microphone.
Go over right on your...
Up in the air.
This table's in bad shape.
Come on, back the other way. Come on, Philip. Back again.
Bring it back here, Philip, please.
Lift it back.
How many tables have you demolished since you started?
We've demolished quite a number.
No, I should say that I was present on one occasion when you were using a rather heavy wooden table and the leg broke off it that night.
That's right, yes. Last time we used a wooden garden table. He went and knocked holes in the wall.
And he's also produced raps and thumps in the wall of the room, hasn't he?
Yes.
Now, in some experiments, you have put paper doilies on the table under your hands, haven't you?
Yes,
To show that you couldn't possibly be applying pressure or friction.
That's right, yes.
And yet the table has bounced around the same way.
Just the same way.
The group has succeeded many times. Visitors have watched their proceedings in bright light or even joined the group at the table. It's clear that there's no possibility that the phenomena are produced by trickery. The Society's research committee under Dr. Owen has taken every precaution to obviate fraud and can state categorically that the phenomena are genuine and paranormal.
They thought they created Philip, but the evidence tells a very different story. Back in 1857, an intellectual man named Allan Kardec decided to study spirit communication, and he recorded them all in this book called The Spirit's Book. Allan Kardec described a world filled with both highly intellectual, advanced spirits and immature, playful, mischievous spirits. Kardec says highly advanced spirits will not show up just for entertainment purposes.
Highly advanced spirits only communicate in serious settings, where people are truly interested in learning and have good intentions. They stay away from places where people are just being silly or asking questions out of curiosity without really wanting to learn. Just like a wise teacher wouldn't waste time on students who aren't paying attention, highly advanced spirits won't waste their time when they aren't being respected.
They're especially not going to show up if you already believe that they don't exist. What's the point? You're already not going to believe anything that they say. So that's why, when they meditated, nothing happened. He explained that these imperfect spirits, or less advanced spirits, are drawn to groups whose emotions match their own. Laughing, singing, joking attracts spirits on that same wavelength.
When people approach spirit communication with a careless or playful attitude, they attract spirits who just want to joke around or trick them.
100 bottles of beer in the wall, 100 bottles of beer. One of those bottles that happen to fall, there'll be 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
These spirits don't give good advice or useful information. They mostly play tricks, tell lies, and try to mislead people. They often pretend to be famous or wise spirits to make their messages seem more important.
So they ended up creating the exact emotional environment that attracts playful, less advanced spirits. It's the true meaning of like attracts like. Researchers insisted none of them were mediums.
None of them claims to be a medium. Psychical research is just one of their many diverse interests.
The group of 8 has shown that a team of normal, non-mediumistic people can acquire a kind of psychological skill, enabling them to generate a strong physical force without the aid of spirits or supernatural influence.
They assumed all mediums knew they were mediums. But according to the Spirits book, mediumship isn't a rare gift.
The connection between each person and their spirit guide makes everyone a medium in their own way.
Some people have stronger abilities than others, but no one is completely disconnected from the other side.
They have proved that this force is latent in most ordinary human beings.
People also noticed that when a group gathered around the table, the movements became stronger. This led some to believe that the group acted like a human battery, with each person adding to the overall energy.
So by gathering a bunch of people together, all with a little bit of mediumship ability, they didn't disprove it, they amplified it. They unknowingly created the exact conditions Allan Kardec said you would need to interact with a spirit. And Philip didn't act at all like the 17th century nobleman they created. He was playful, childish, he loved beer and sex.
What about turning the table upside down? And I know that this has happened, getting the wraps while the table is upside down. Let's do that.
We can do anything you want.
Now, all hands are visible. Let's just dwell on this point. All hands are visible at this point, yet the wraps are clearly coming from, it would appear, certainly from within that table. Let's try it again. Philip, give us a good, loud, clear rap.
Philip, if you perform, you should have a nice big pint of beer. Would you like that? Good.
Yes. Now, that was the loudest rap of the evening.
Yes, he loves beer. He loves beer.
Keep on that vein. What sort of questions does Philip respond to? Can we ask him about sex and beer are his.
Does that sound like a spirit of a 17th century nobleman? It should act like the character they developed. It did not. And this isn't an isolated event. It's happened numerous times to other researchers.
I told you that this was a scientific experiment.
Right.
And experiments have to be repeatable. So we decided that if our thesis was true, another group of people should be able to do the same thing with a different story.
So Lilith is another imaginary ghost.
Is another imaginary ghost.
The only thing is that scientists say spirits can't exist, so this must be something else.
Now, you are all thoughtful, intelligent people. You have professional backgrounds. You're skilled in your various fields. How do you really feel about this Philip phenomenon? Sue?
I think that it is a purely physical thing coming from the brain, that any human being who is trained in the skill could do it. It's just, it takes some training to develop the skill, and I think it's a source of energy which perhaps we have helped to find, and that it may someday be used as a source of energy.
Kardec also explained why science will have a hard time studying these events.
Science focuses on studying physical things we can see, touch, and test in experiments. But spirit phenomena are different because they involve intelligent beings who have their own free will. Since spirits don't follow human commands, we can't study them the same way we study objects in science.
In other words, the minds of you people working on this together have been able to produce movements in this table, raps in answers to your questions, all the things that traditionally ghosts have done. Mm-hmm. So are you saying then that the traditional ghost may have been a projection from the minds of living people?
That's my view.
Do you all agree with that?
Yeah.
It could be.
It could be a
It
thought.
could be. Yeah. It could be. Yes. Yeah.
This is one of the answers.
Yeah.
If Philip is a product of their mind, they should be able to control it. They couldn't control it. They couldn't get him to say hi to certain people.
Willie, say hello to each one of you in turn. Why don't we go around the table, each one of you give your name, and say hello to Philip, and we'll ask Philip to respond.
Oh, that's
starting with you, Iris.
Hello, Philip. This is Iris. You know me. Say hello. No, he's not.
Hello, Philip.
Did we get one there?
He's not talking for you.
Nope.
You try it.
Hello, Philip. Sal. Oh,
That's a nice one for Al. He likes Al.
He would refuse to answer some questions.
What's going to get him to give us a good loud answer as a kind of grand finale for him? You people know his feelings.
Come on, sir. You'll ask him.
Does he love, what's the gypsy?
Do you like her? Yeah. Are you do you still love Margot, Philip? Sue, you ask him questions.
Do you want to come on TV again, Philip?
He's gone shy all
May
of
have
you.
heard it.
Yeah.
No.
Are you still there, Philip?
Yes, he's still there.
Give us one more rap for goodbye.
Say goodbye to Alan.
A real loud one.
Louder than that. He's saying no. He doesn't want to go.
He never wants
Give us one rap, Philip.
Say goodbye to George.
We're going to have to say goodbye to Philip for now.
There was also a book written about the Philip experiment, and it shows even more signs that Philip was not imaginary. Philip kept changing his religion, went against the story the group created, he tapped on the table when he felt ignored, said goodbye in different ways, kept time with his favorite songs, and even laughed at jokes. Instead of disproving the spirit world, they accidentally demonstrated it. Perfectly. It's exactly what Allan Kardec said would happen. They didn't create Philip, they just created an environment for a spirit to come in and play with them. And that's what happened. So if the book was right about spirit communication, I wonder what else it was right about. Because it also talks about what happens when we die, the purpose of life. It even made predictions about the future. I wonder if it's right about that stuff too. It is in the public domain, so there is a free version of the book that you can download for free. Link is in the description. If you want to know a bit more about the Spirits book and how it was written and how it pertains to near-death experiences, you can click this video here. If you want to hear some of the predictions, 14 of the predictions that the book made about the future in terms of science and history and where we're going as a species, you can click this video here. All right, that's it for this video. Hope to see you again sometime. Bye-bye.